Hello and welcome along to Brands Hatch for rounds 11 and 12 of the Design911.com Porsche Championship. Highlights of race 1 for you first off, and then the full race 2. Blue skies and a good crowd here at the Kent circuit. Looking forward to some superb action. David Clark leads the overall championship with Jerry Taylor in second. Stephen Brown, the top Porsche 924, in third place. Fourth, second in the 924s, Alfred Piesinger, and he's closely followed by Jason Flegg, with Rick Styrin, the third of the Boxsters, in sixth overall. The grid for race 1, Dave Clark and Rick Styrin on the front row, then David Bierman and Arjo Josh, Guillaume Gruchet and Mike Seller, Jonathan Blake and Nick Hull in 8th place. 9th is John Bierman, then Stephen Boyles from Jason Flegg and Adam Croft. Alfred Piesinger and Steve Brown on row 7, then Andrew Hannington and Jeffrey Hansen, Sean Siddle and Mark McKenzie row 9, then Paul Bravo and Rebecca Jackson, Anthony Mekvinsky at the back of the grid. Championship leader David Clark continues his lockout of pole. Rick Styrin alongside him. On row 2, David Bierman and Arjo Josh there in the white car. Then Guillaume Gruchet and Mike Seller. The 4th row, Jonathan Blake and Nick Hull in black and green. 924s have had 4 different pole drivers this year. Jason Flegg on pole today with Adam Croft alongside. Then Alfred Piesinger, class leader Stephen Brown 4th. Grid completed by Anthony Mekvinsky, and the field ready to go here at Brands. A great start from the Boxsters, sees the usual close battle on the way down to Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Despite pressure from the outside, Clark grabs the initiative on the inside. Styrin's momentum around the outside bags him second ahead of David Bierman. Most competitive championships result in a casualty at Druids on lap 1. Mike Seller, you saw there going into the gravel on this occasion. The replay of the start shows Guillaume Gruchet getting away well in 5th position on the grid. Mike Seller got away well too in front of him. But look at John Bierman making pressure through on the inside and past Gruchet at Paddock. Jonathan Blake in the black and yellow car is best known as a Mazda man, but he's enjoying himself in the 41 car today, giving chase to Arjo Josh in his white Boxster. In the 924s though, Jason Flegg has picked up some damage on the front of his pole setting car. That's Adam Croft keeping him very much on his toes. Nick Hull in the black and green machine has made it past Blake into 6th position, but Jonathan tries to reclaim that on the run to Druids. He keeps the pressure on down towards Graham Hill too, but on this occasion to no avail. Despite battling hard and potentially slowing each other up, Hull and Blake are still keeping in touch with Arjo Josh, who's in 6th. Jason Flegg's lead in the 924s is short-lived. He has to pit, handing the lead to Adam Croft. This, meanwhile, the onboard from Andrew Hannington shows what great racing can still be had in the venerable 924s. This particular battle for 3rd in class with Mark McKenzie. Watch and enjoy. Brands Hatch, perhaps the best circuit in the country to visit for overall viewing, but you can't get better than that onboard that we saw there. Behind the Mackenzie-Hannington fight, Stephen Brown and Jeffrey Hansen having their own battle too. Brown tries the long way around Paddock Hill Bend, then sticks to the line to grab the position in impressive fashion on the way up to Druids. Keep your eyes open for Sean Siddle, the blue car 11, closing in as well. Back in the Boxsters, Guillaume Gruchet is busy hounding John Bierman. Bierman goes wide on the exit of Graham Hill, loses a bit of momentum, and Gruchet is through. But up at Clearways, the slightest of contact from Bierman sends Gruchet into a spin, and that puts him to the back of the class, and also collects Jonathan Blake. Here's the view from Blake's onboard. Quite simply, nothing he could do to avoid the contact. Sean Siddle and Jeffrey Hansen continue to have their battle. The former, though, about to make a move on the entry to Surtees. Arjo Josh spins away a few class points in the Boxsters, but he will recover to continue his fight. Back in the 924s, Alfred Piesinger here on the outside line in the red 924 sees a podium position slipping away. That's Andrew Hannington through into third place. On board again with Guillaume Gruchet, he's in 7th place now, and chasing Nick Hull. Hull's defending well, but Gruchet catches a handful on the exit of the hairpin. Looks like he's going to have to settle for that place. Up front, though, it's Dave Clark, who is just over 4 seconds clear of Rick Styron, and as you saw, dealing with the back marker traffic as efficiently as ever. This is his last lap, and he's inch perfect once again. And on his way to claim another win, as well as fastest lap to extend that championship lead. Confirmation of the results of round 11 of the championship. As far as the Boxsters are concerned, Dave Clark the winner from Rick Styron in 2nd place. The Bierman brothers got together at the end, David in 3rd and John 4th, Arjo Josh in 5th position, and then Stephen Boyles in 6th. The 924s look like this. Their round 11 going to Adam Croft, Stephen Brown in 2nd position from Andrew Hannington, then Sean Siddle in 4th from Mark McKenzie, and Jeffrey Hansen in 6th place. After the race, we caught up with 924 pilot Rebecca Jackson.
Okay, so I didn't do too badly in qualifying. I've got a bit of a mechanical fault, so had to come in early. So I ended up starting 2nd from the last on the grid for race 1. I managed to get up to about 7th or 8th, and I was picking up pace and not doing too badly. And then I started to develop a misfire, had to change gear quite early. And unfortunately it just got worse and worse and worse, and I was lucky to even finish the race, to be honest. So hopefully we've ironed out the faults, and it will run a lot better in race 2.
Obviously yesterday was a bit of a misfortune on Druids on the first lap. We managed to make a couple of positions up early on, which was nice, but unfortunately broke a near side front hub. But luckily another Boxster later in the race was damaged quite badly, and they donated the hub to us, which means hopefully we can drive again today.
Evidence of good camaraderie in the Design911.com Porsche Championship. Pole position, though, goes to round 11 winner Dave Clark. This is round 12, Rick Styron alongside. Then the Bierman brothers on row 2. Row 3, Arjo Josh and Steve Boyles. Nick Hull and Guillaume Gruchet on row 4. Then Jonathan Blake and Mike Seller. Porsche 924 pole, Adam Croft and Steve Brown. Then Andrew Hannington and Sean Siddle, with Mark McKenzie and Jeffrey Hansen on row 8, followed by Jason Clegg and Paul Bravo. Anthony Metvinsky 19th from Rebecca Jackson. And championship frontrunner Alfred Piesinger starts at the very back of the grid with lots of work to do. Porsche 924s coming around Clark Curve and forming up the second half of the grid. Always makes a superb sight here at Brands Hatch, and we've got a great view from our camera at Paddock Hill Bend. Keep your eyes on the man in orange just to the right of the grid. He's going to make sure that all the starters are in position and ready to go for the start. He'll wave the flag. There it goes when we're ready to start the race. Sometimes the outside front row at Brands perceived to have a little bit of an advantage. We'll see whether Rick Styring can make the most of that. Lights on. Off they go. Round 12 is underway. And a great start by Dave Clark, who pulls across, grabs that first position. Now, what about second position? Well, Rick Styring's lost out. It looks like he was cutting across the circuit. It's David Bierman up into second position as they round Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Adam Croft. Adam Croft spins on the way down from Paddock Hill Bend. The class winner in race one for the Porsche 924s has got it all to do here. But Dave Clark, the class winner and overall winner in the Boxsters, makes a perfect start. He is the absolute master of this class. Well, it looks like John Bierman had a bad start. He is side by side with Mike Seller and trying to get on the inside of Mike Seller. He's done it. There he is, Seller in the yellow car. Just ahead of him is John Bierman, who finished fourth in the first race. Unusual to see John separated on circuit from his brother David, and we've made the comment throughout the year that normally they're on the same row of the grid. They were in this one, but they weren't at the start of race one. On to lap two. Dave Clark leads across the line. Battle for second position. David Bierman coming under pressure from Rick Styring. Then it's Arjo Josh. Josh being chased by John Bierman. Down through Paddock they go. Let's see whether Bierman can get a run. Josh goes slightly wider on the exit, and Bierman looks up the inside. Now let's look at, has he got the line? No, he hasn't. Josh far enough in front to be able to claim the position. Wide line on the exit of Druids, and Bierman's going to go for the outside line. Through Graham Hill Bend. What's he going to do now? Switches back to the inside. Will he be able to pass and make it stick? Join us after the break to find out. Welcome back to round 12 of the Design911.com Porsche Championship. And it's John Bierman about to pass Arjo Josh as they go down into Surtees. He's through. Great manoeuvre by Bierman. Not such a great start from him, but in the race he's making progress. And now we've got Mike Seller putting pressure on Josh. Josh goes wide. You can do that into clearways, but he's gone too wide and Seller goes through. Nick Holt's going to come through as well. Well, Josh has left the door open twice there, loses 3 positions on 1 lap. We won't rub it in anymore for him. Look how spread out the field are after just a couple of laps. So John Bierman looking to close up, leading the 924s. Coming towards us in the blue and white car is Sean Siddle, car number 11. Second place, Andrew Hannington. Third place, car number 80, sorry, the 60, the red car of Stephen Brown. And down behind him, number 3, the black car with the red wheels. That is Jason Flegg, pole sitter from race 1. Up to Druids they go. Siddle looking very much in control. Andrew Hannington coming under pressure from class championship leader, Stephen Brown. So Brown potentially on for a podium here. 4-way scrap then for lead position. Those cars very, very close together. And if you fancy racing Porsches, but maybe can't afford a Boxster, there's some very competitive, close racing to be had in the cost-effective 924 class. It's got quite a heritage, a pedigree. It's been running for many seasons, and a lot of drivers getting a lot of very pleasurable racing mileage out of it, as you can see, and coming to great venues like the MSV-owned Brands Hatch circuit here in Kent to apply your trade. But look at Siddle running real well in car number 11 at the moment. Andrew Hannington giving chase, but not able to do it at the moment. Hannington, this the home circuit for him, the 44-year-old from Whitstable. But Rick Styring through into second position, past David Bierman. Great manoeuvre, lunge down the inside. Lunge in the safest possible way of saying that, but look at that, has he left it too late? Because Dave Clark nowhere in shot, the race leader. Styring into second position. David Bierman down to third. Where is fourth position? Well, it's John Bierman running in fourth position now, having passed Arjo Josh and recovered from not such a good start, you have to say. There is Dave Clark going through and already catching up with the tail end 924s, and we do expect that. The 924s generally get a lap or so less in each race. The relative performance of the cars will dictate that, as we look at David Bierman trying to give chase to Rick Styring, who's got back into that second position. Styring, the company director from Leeds of Styring Motors, into a good second position, but further back, much further back from Dave Clark than he was in round 11, the first race of this programme. Through Paddock Hill Bend they go. Look at the 924s, very close though, and Sean Siddle is still there in car number 11. Andrew Hannington in third, coming under pressure from the red car of Stephen Brown. Jason Flegg in the mix as well. Down through Graham Hill, Andrew Hannington looks up the inside as they come into Graham Hill bend, but he's not going to be able to go through. Sean Siddle has been caught, but he's soaking up the pressure real well at the moment. Along Cooper Straight, now into the left-hander at Surtees, then it's going to be right. Oh, spin for Mark McKenzie. Mark McKenzie spins onto the grass. All is well with him, he'll be able to rejoin, but a little way down the order. So Alfred Piesinger goes through. His quest from the back of the field is going well. This is the race leader, Sean Siddle. Oh, and he's lost it! Sean Siddle loses it. Surely he's lost the lead. Yes, he has. Andrew Hannington was through into the lead momentarily, and I think Stephen Brown was looking around the outside. So Siddle, I think, rejoins in 4th or 5th position. And we've got a change for 2nd as well. Jason Flegg up into 2nd position. Andrew Hannington down to 3rd. But Stephen Brown, championship leader for the 924s. That's exactly the sort of thing that can win you championships, in the right place at the right time in the Flegg Transport car. Out of Druids, and he would have seen exactly what happened to Sean Siddle, who will rejoin and has rejoined. Oh, and somebody having a Mr. Whippy in front of him, and he manages to go through safe and well. There is Dave Clark, the lead driver in the Boxster, putting a lap on him, so Dave Clark continues on his way. This is the scrap for 2nd position, and Hannington's through back into 2nd place on the inside of Jason Flegg, but Steve Brown away down the road at the moment, 5 or 6 lengths clear. Andrew Hannington up to 2nd, back up to 2nd position we should say. Jason Flegg in 3rd place. There is Dave Clark, the leading Boxster, down at the back, so the Boxster is there. Dave Clark is going to get around to lapping these, but off goes Arjo Josh. Arjo Josh running very strongly in race 1. He is off and into the gravel. I'm not sure if that's going to necessitate a safety car. We're on board with Sean Siddle, and through goes Alfred Piesinger. So Piesinger into 4th place, Siddle down to 5th. Well, he led well, didn't he, for many laps, and he's going to be absolutely gutted with whatever caused, whether it was pressure, because he was coming under pressure at the time from Andrew Hannington, who's still in 2nd. Piesinger, good drive from the very back of the field, as through goes the 3rd place Boxster. David Bierman goes through. You see the speed differential there at the end of Cooper Straight into Surtees, through McLaren, now into Clearways. Sean Siddle keeping it tight, but through goes John Bierman in 4th position, with behind him Mike Seller. There is Alfred Piesinger, now 4th position in the 924s. Alfred coming into this event 2nd on points in the 924s to... Oh, and that's a big problem there. Now, is that somebody off? Well, we've got that is a major incident there, and the car that you saw spin was John Bierman. I'm not sure if there are other cars involved. We've got debris all over the circuit. Jason Flegg just manages to miss the errant wheel. Now, I was going to ask the mate. Now, the 2 drivers there involved, and it looks like the Biermans. John and David Bierman from 3rd and 4th in the race. The red flag quite rightly being displayed. So the instruction from race control is that the race will be stopped. Whether we'll get a checkered flag on the race, we've had approximately 15 or 16 minutes of a scheduled 20-minute race. Well, both the Bierman brothers you saw were out of their cars, which is the good news. The medical car very quickly on scene, as is always the case in British racing. You really couldn't get a safer pastime. Now here's a view from erstwhile leader in the 924, Sean Siddle. Let's see if we can see what happens. That is pretty... visibility there, absolutely nil. How we didn't get more cars piling in, I do not know. There is the 31 car, John Bierman. You could see that right of shot. Look at it again. Visibility here, as you try and come through it, improves, but visibility was absolutely nil on the way in. And quite honestly, how there were more cars not involved in that, I don't know. Adam Croft, who's running a little way down the 924 order. Look at that. I think he may have even clipped the wheel there onto the grass. Hats off to Adam for keeping it in the right line, but not for the first time this season. Some damage for David and John Bierman. You might remember David had a big problem at Cadwell Park in an earlier programme in the series. And, well, the 2 drivers are OK. Let's hope that they'll be back to contest the next round. Out front was that man, David Clark, in car number 1, and I can tell you the decision has been made to display the checkered flag, so it's red flag followed by checkered. David Clark taking the overall win. The 924 win going to Stephen Brown there in car number 60. Confirmation of the Boxsters though, Dave Clark takes the win with Rick Styron in second. David Bierman will be credited with third as he didn't cause the accident. John Bierman fourth, Mike Seller is in 5th position and Guillaume Gruchet in 6th.
I wanted to get my head down, to be honest, and I got a great start. David followed me through and gave me a bit of breathing space, to be honest, and I just wanted to get as big a gap as I could in case anything went wrong later. And sadly, with 4 minutes to go, as you can see behind me, it all went wrong for 2nd, 3rd and 4th just behind me. So my race was fairly uneventful. There's a lot of conversations to be had about what happened with everyone else.
Yeah, the race started really well. Got a really good start into Paddock Hill Bend, right behind Dave Clark. Managed to get obviously in front of Rick, and obviously proceeded for most of the race at the beginning. Rick managed to dive down my inside at Paddock, so I thought I'd stay back for a while and watch what happened. And unfortunately, at the end, Rick obviously blew an engine, which I couldn't see as I entered pit straight, so I didn't know if there was an accident. So as I backed out, obviously the car behind me, which unfortunately is my teammate and my brother, also collected me. So yeah, I suppose the consolation is the race was stopped, so I did finish 3rd, but quite a bent car, so Lady Luck wasn't with us this weekend, unfortunately.
In the 924, Stephen Brown takes the win from Andrew Hannington, Jason Flegg completing the podium. Alfred Piesinger from the back of the grid finishes 4th, then Sean Siddle 5th, and Adam Croft rounding off the top 6.
So, pretty good start, not as good as hoped. Started from 2nd place, and I think I was in 3rd by the time I went around Paddock Hill Bend. Squeezed Andy in his blue car a little bit. I was kind of just settled into following Andy and Sean Siddle. Sean was leading. Really pleased for Sean, because I think it's the first time he's led for more than 1 lap, so that was fantastic. And then eventually Andy and Sean got together, and Sean span out, and it slowed Andy down so much that I was able to get past him on the main straight, and that was it for me, really.
I was running in 2nd for quite a lot of the race, behind Sean. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of contact at clearways. He span, I had to lift, and Steve took the opportunity to come past me, as well as Jay. I got Jay back about 3 corners later. And then I had no chance of catching Steve. I was happy to settle for 2nd, and all of a sudden it's a big plume of smoke.
Had a good start off the grid, got a couple of places, and basically my tyres started coming on, catching the top 3, and there was a bit of an accident, I believe, between number 1 and number 2, which me and Steve took full advantage of, and I got up in 2nd. And I was doing well, and Andy just done a fantastic move up the inside. It took the 2nd place back, and I just couldn't keep it from them. My tyres just went off a little bit, but I tried my best, but I got a 3rd out of 7th place start, so that was okay.
Championship looks like this. Dave Clark the leader in the Boxsters and overall. Steve Brown 2nd position overall and leader of the 924s. Jerry Taylor down to 3rd. Alfred Piesinger 4th overall, 2nd in the 924s. Rick Starr in 5th, and Adam Croft now up into 3rd in the Porsche 924s. A lot of damage here today at Brands Hatch. Join us for the next round, which comes from Snetterton.